Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by Grain Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution. I'm Dale Menyo. Well, if March winds bring April showers, and if they're proportional, based on the wind that we've had for a big portion of March, then April could be wet, if you believe that stuff. Here at my studio, we had 4,500ths of an inch of rain over the weekend. Well, the cattle and calves on feed for the slaughter market in the United States, with feedlots with a capacity of 1,000 head or more, reported 11.6 million head on March 1. The inventory was 2% below March 1 of a year ago. Placements in feedlots during February totaled 1.55 million head, 18% below a year ago. Net placements were 1.49 million head. And the marketings of fed cattle during February totaled 1.63 million head, 9% below that of 2024. The DTN analysis would say there's simply no denying it. Friday's cattle on feed report should be viewed as bullish, as Friday's data came in lighter than both the pre-report estimates and compared to a year ago. That from DTN livestock analyst Shaylee Stewart. Also, needless to say, it's likely that traders will find the report bullish, and we'll see what the markets look like when they open later today. Today's weather brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
A little chilly to start off the work week here across the Buckeye State. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at that Ohio Ag weather update. Clouds are, for the most part, going to stay a little bit farther north today, coming out of the Great Lakes and moving across Ontario. I think we see some cold-based cloud cover in here, just due to the fact that temperatures are a little bit on the chilly side and clouds are a little easier to form in this kind of air mass. But I'm keeping the forecast dry at this point. I'm going to keep it dry through tomorrow midday as well. Late tomorrow afternoon and overnight tomorrow night, I think we have to deal with a few spits and sprinkles from I-70 southward. Not a lot of moisture, but some. And then we're mostly dry again for Wednesday the 26th, but still on the cooler side. Temperatures start to moderate for Thursday into Friday. In that warmer sector, we may see a few hit-and-miss scattered showers popping up, mostly to our west Thursday night and Friday morning. And then we're going all the way through Saturday, keeping precipitation well to the north in the Great Lakes and well to the west. I think the next good, well-organized batch of moisture for the entire state comes overnight Saturday night through Sunday and into early Monday. Right in that time frame, I think we can look for anywhere from a tenth to 3/4 of an inch, with coverage around 80% of the Buckeye State. Behind that, we stay mild for that first full week of April. As a matter of fact, big surge in temperatures for the first and second, right on through the rest of the week. In that surge of temperatures, we can see a little bit of an increase in moisture. Very active precipitation track trying to develop from the northern plains right on through the eastern Corn Belt, especially over the Great Lakes. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Let's check in with the latest from Ohio Corn and Wheat. With that, here's Dusty Sonnenberg.
I recently had the opportunity to catch up with Tad Nicholson, Executive Director of the Ohio Corn and Wheat Growers Association, and discuss two very important topics to Ohio corn and wheat growers. The first of those being unleaded 88 or year-round E15 availability. Tad shared with us the value that would bring both to consumers and to farmers.
Yeah, E15 is the one thing that we've been talking about a lot. If we are successful, we are about to create new corn demand to the tune of about 80% of what Ohio grows in a given year. It's 470 million bushels that could be created if we just had a 1% incremental increase in the amount of ethanol this country uses every year. We can do that by having E15 offered year-round, encouraging retailers, finally incentivizing them to say, I'm going to finally offer this to my customers, and that is what's going to get us to that higher level and create this new corn demand.
Ted also talked about the newly introduced Farm to Fly Act and the importance of sustainable aviation fuel.
Sustainable aviation fuel is one of those big long-term, not even just nationwide, it's a worldwide type of a discussion, really starting with the airlines of making a sustainability commitment on their own to say they want to have a more sustainable fuel. And we could do that. There's not just one feedstock like corn ethanol. What we're trying to do now is make sure that it has a role to play. It's one of the several feedstocks that we can use in sustainable aviation fuel. And so right now, while there's no sustainable aviation aviation fuel market, the rules are getting written. And that's why it's so important to be engaged. And we see, people like Congressman Max Miller, putting in the Farm to Fly Act, which helps to set the rules up right now to allow U.S. agriculture products to play a role in sustainable aviation fuel.
And again, those are the comments of Tad Nicholson, Executive Director of the Ohio Corn and Wheat Growers Association. For the Ohio AgNet, I'm Dusty Sonnenberg.
And thanks, Dusty. Also on the calendar, be sure to make plans to attend the Ohio Safety Congress and Expo. It's hosted by the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation. It'll be at the Greater Columbus Convention Center, April 16th through the 18th. Find a full schedule of events and program ideas at ohiosafetycongress.com. Well, U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins hosted a stakeholder update to provide the first progress report on the U.S. Department of Agriculture's five-pronged strategy to combat highly pathogenic avian influenza and lower egg prices. Less than a month after the plan's rollout, USDA reports significant advancements across all five areas. Egg prices are falling, farmers are getting the relief they need, and we are seeing meaningful progress in the fight against avian flu, said Secretary Rollins. USDA is making targeted investments and driving innovation to keep our food supply strong and affordable, delivering real results for American families and producers. Since February 26th, wholesale egg prices have dropped nearly 50%. The New York wholesale egg price, which peaked at $8.53 per dozen, is steadily declined to $4.08 as of March 19th. While seasonal Easter demand may cause fluctuations, the downward trend underscores the effectiveness of USDA's approach. USDA has expanded biosecurity assessment to commercial poultry producers nationwide, prioritizing egg-laying facilities in top-producing states. More than 130 facilities nationwide have undergone assessments in 2025, with 38 assessments completed last week alone. Expediting relief for farmers to accelerate repopulation. To provide financial relief and support faster repopulation, USDA increased the indemnity rate for layer hens by 2.41 on February 27th, raising compensation to $16.94 per bird. And reducing regulatory burdens to expand supply and lower prices, USDA is working with the FDA and industry stakeholders to evaluate solutions that can help expand supply safely, minimize burdens on farmers and consumers, and promote innovative approaches to disease management. The department continues to explore ways to reduce the extent of depopulations while maintaining food safety standards. And USDA's Animal Plant Health Inspection Service, or APHIS, launched a $100 million fund opportunity in consultation with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and the National Institute of Health and the Food and Drug Administration, all to support research into HPAI prevention, therapeutics, and potential vaccines. In consultation with HHS, USDA will also explore prevention strategies to promote biosecurity in agriculture and in humans to ensure limited impact on American farmers. Funding will be awarded through a competitive process with priority given to projects that develop novel therapeutics to address HPAI in poultry, advance research on avian influenza risk pathways to improve biosecurity and outbreak response, and explore vaccine candidates to protect poultry while minimizing trade disputes. In exploring temporary import-export adjustments to stabilize supply, USDA has secured new egg import commitments from Turkey and South Korea, with discussions ongoing with other countries to further expand supply in the short term. Additionally, U.S. shell egg exports have declined by 8%, ensuring more eggs remain in the domestic market to help stabilize prices. Back with more after this. This is Dale Menyo with the Ohio AgNet. For over 25 years, my truck has been running strong on biodiesel, reliable, high-performance fuel that keeps me on the road promoting agriculture. Every gallon helps power Ohio's economy, protect our environment, and support our hardworking soybean farmers. The best part? It works in any diesel engine. No modifications needed. Take it from me. Choose biodiesel and drive with purpose. Learn how at soyohio.org.
Don't miss out on a huge inventory of trucks and heavy equipment coming up for bid in the Ritchie Brothers Great Lakes Regional Sales Event, March 27th and 28th. All of our vehicles and equipment are always available for you to browse and inspect before the sale, both in person and online, so you never miss a detail. Register online today so you can take part and get ready to bid on a variety of assets that include truck tractors, van trucks, van trailers, excavators, flatbed trailers, and so much more. Visit rbauction.com to learn more and get registered.
Crude oil futures settled higher on Friday, posting multi-week gains driven by a combination of geopolitical events in the Middle East, the possibility of a ceasefire in Russia-Ukraine war, stricter sanctions on Iranian oil trade, and expectations of a temporary impact from the trade tariff war on the U.S. economy. The front month New York MEX WTI futures contract rose by 12 cents to $68.19 a barrel, the highest increase in over 2 weeks, while the ICE Brent futures contract for May increased by 7 cents to $72.07 a barrel, the highest level since February 28th. The U.S. dollar index rose by 0.27% to 103.77 against a basket of foreign currencies. On Friday, the bullish sentiment was supported by expectations of limited supplies in the global market as the U.S. government continues to impose stricter sanctions on Russia, Iran, and Venezuelan oil supplies. Today's market analysis is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company, excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. For more information on marketing your soybeans to LDC, call them at 574-566-2113. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets were mostly lower on Friday, and as we work into our first part of this week, dealing with a little bit of uncertainty here. On Friday, ag markets were mixed, mostly lower, a trend that was basically what we're seeing for a large part of the last week to 2 weeks. We do have the March stocks report, quarterly stocks report coming on March 31st. And we've also got the upcoming prospective plantings report that needs to be kicked around just a little bit. Trump reciprocal tariffs are going to be starting next week, April 2nd. Let's see, that is a Wednesday of next week. The report and the unknowns on tariffs kept most of traders sidelined from taking excessive risk. We even saw risk get paired in the market on Friday. Corn futures were not able to build on Thursday's rally. Last Friday, the Brazilian corn futures turned to sharp losses amid rumors of U.S. corn imports. We are doubting that Brazil is going to be importing corn out of the U.S., but the ongoing first crop corn harvest and increased harvested acres in Argentina are going to be pressuring corn prices a little bit more. Cash bids for Brazil's winter corn crop are lacking and depressed. That's the way we're starting this week as well. U.S. wheat futures have followed the weakness in corn and beans on Friday amid routine old crop U.S. export demand. Soybean futures were weaker following losses in soy oil, showing that February D4 RIN production was sitting at only half of year-ago levels. The weaker RIN production is hinting at a sizable drop in the U.S. bio and renewable diesel production sector. The market is trying to balance the dramatic expansion of export demand and the loss of U.S. green diesel production. The oil share spread rallied early last week and corrected late week. Values for the week overall were little to unchanged. Brokers estimate Managed Money sold 6,100 contracts of corn Friday, 4,700 contracts of beans, 1,100 contracts of Chicago wheat. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Today's market's brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Overnight at the open, May corn down a penny at $4.63.5. December down a penny at $4.50. May soybeans down a penny at $10.0875. November down a half a cent at $10.0725. On wheat, we have pluses. July wheat up 1 1/4 at $5.75 3/4. September up a penny at $5.92. If you held July all the way to December, it's up a penny and a half at $6.15. In livestock, April cattle down $1.52 at $206.95. June $202.77, down $2.25. In August down $2.47 at $199.35. Hogs, all pluses. April was up 57 at $86.12. The May $89.65, up $1.05, and June up $1.22 at $97.47. April feeder cattle slid $3.47 to $284.97. The May down an even $4 at $285.10. That's the latest look at the markets. More news always on our website at ohioagnet.com. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dale Menyo. This is the Ohio AgNet.